Hi everyone. Tonight we're doing the 10 of Wands, and the next time we'll be going on to the Pentacles, and we'll go from Ace to 10 on them, and then we'll deal with the Court cards afterwards. Let's start tonight with the Chariot. And you might go, well, has she got the moon underneath that card? Well, the moon is associated with the astrological sign of Cancer. And the Chariot, of course, is the major arcana card for Cancer. Now, yes, we are dealing with studying the 10 of Wands, but on Tuesdays, what it's all about is being able to combine the 10 of Wands, or whatever card we're studying, in this case, 10 of Wands, and how we can actually combine cards so that we can start to put a reading together. Now, I work with pairs because if we just had one card, we can get very lost. The right-hand card, i.e. the suit, the minor arcana, will tell you the background effects of what's going on. And the major arcana card are important things in our life. The moon is associated with the Chariot because, as a planet, that's in goldy yellow, as a planet, it's important we know the influences. I'm going to get rid of the moon, and we know this is a card of Cancer. What does the Chariot mean? Okay, quite simply, it's a million things, we know that. But quite simply, because it's the fourth house in astrology, it relates to domestic matters and our home. So, 10 of Wands, well, the end is in sight. So how could we fuse the 10 of Wands? I've got several meanings there for you, so this is just one of them. But the 10 of Wands is a card of action. We're in the suit of Wands, which is all about action, and the element of fire that associates with the astrological signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. You might go, well, what's that got to do with anything? If you know that, you can work out what the 10 of Wands or any of the Wands cards is telling you is happening, and it's action. So this isn't something that they feel. This isn't something that they're thinking. This isn't something that they already have. This is something that they are acting on. At this point in time, something to do with home life is associated here with the 10 of Wands. Maybe matters at home, the end is in sight. Things may have been difficult. You may have been trying to get your home into a beautiful way aesthetically. Maybe you've been trying to be independent. You might be renting and want to rent somewhere else, or you want the freedom to be your own boss. You've looked at the opportunities and possibilities. At home, there's been some difficulties, and that depends on your circumstances. Now, generally, it means you're set up at home. It can mean our parents, but it's probably to do with our domestic life. So if you live with your cat, your dog, and your fellow, that's what it's talking about. Or if it's your family or extended family living with you, it's talking about that. So the end is in sight. Hard work, the actions, the slogging, you're getting there. So sometimes it might be something to do with I want to move. You will find the home that you're looking for. Another meaning can be you've worked really hard and success is almost yours with the 10 of Wands. This is all to do with home, domestic matters, and the people that are in it, the aesthetics, the neighbours, everything that goes on with our home life. Who's in it, what it looks like, how you actually pay for it, have you paid for it? Are you a homeowner? Have you got a mortgage? Are you renting? Are you looking to move? Pay particular attention if you or someone in that dwelling is a Cancerian, because it's telling you that person, they are really at the final mile and they are ready to receive success due to hard work. The word for a Cancerian or domestic arrangements is physically exhausted. We've got to look at that person's sun. I'm a Cancerian, but my moon is not Cancer. Neither is my rising sign. So that means, she really behaves that way. Everything's about her domestic life, the people that she cares about, the people she wants to protect. It comes out in every sort of area. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, go onto our website. We've got a free natal chart on there. I am going to say that when we updated the website, different things became available. The old one was no longer available. Now, I have my own professional software, so I look very deeply into something called Astro Gold, but there's something on there for free. Yes, if you want to go further on that, it does charge you. The other one didn't. Okay. It did if you wanted something in particular, but this might take you somewhere. We can't get rid of it. Just get the basics and don't feel you've got to pay for anything. Just get what's free and then leave. So that's the best we can do. We've looked hard for that. I've looked for years and finally we got one and we changed website and it changed, but we've still got something for you. It will help you understand different aspects of your life because the tarot cards are linked to planets. Same as I've said, the Chariot's linked to, astrologically, Cancer. It's also Cancerians ruled by the moon. The Chariot, of course, is not just about our home. There's other things that go with the Chariot. Look at the picture. You can see this is somebody that's very determined, very willful, to the point of exhaustion. It's all about the home and the people in it. So it's probably working really hard for the home and the people in it. Maybe it's to do with, how they want it to aesthetically look, the garden, the extension, getting a mortgage or meeting the rent or putting in pretties, whatever it is. It's something that's actually, they're at that final part in their journey and they've acted and worked it out. Another word could be they've taken on too much, the responsibility of domestic arrangements, feeding the energy of the 10 of Wands into the Chariot. If you think of one word, your major arcana, pick a variety, or just one word for each while you get it, and just go, right, okay, if this came up for you and you were saying, what do I need to know today? With home, you've taken on too much. And we can see that. And you might not be seeing everything clearly because your head is buried in the Wands. Why? Maybe because the person is unable to say no. How many of us are guilty of that one? So maybe our person is unable to say no when it comes to their children, their parents, partner, siblings, whoever's part of their home. What does it mean to that person? So you might say, oh, this is your family. And somebody said, I don't do anything for my family. I don't speak to them. In which case, say, who would you consider family? They might say, my cat. There you go. It's you, your dwelling, and your cat. Whatever it is, that's what you've got to look at. If they're splitting hairs, they're probably just trying to clarify. Sometimes that's what it's about, that clarity. Obligations to duty. Feel obligated to take on the home. Duty, a sense of purpose and duty is pushing them to feel obliged to be the homemaker or the provider. There's a lot it can be. Read the card for yourself and ask yourself, if you're struggling, what do I need to know today? Have you got a question? I'm a Cancerian. If I looked at this, I'd be going, okay, yeah, that really applies to me. I've got a duty. Maybe I've bitten off more than I can chew, but I'm nearly there. How would it apply to the home? There's a lot going on. I have to pay attention to our home because what's next for us? We're considering moving. It's as simple as that. I've been here a long time and there's a lot to sort out. Not because just the move, it's people in it. I've got animals and it's not so easy to walk out with a suitcase when you've got dogs. Maybe you're doing it all yourself. Maybe everything you're doing, you're definitely guilty of this. A lot of us are doing it all yourself, taking on that load. Think of it like if you just had the Chariot, you might have said, oh, this is something to do with you're really willful or your willpower's really, really strong and going in the right direction. Think of your 10 of Wands, unable to say no. What makes you do it? I used to do it, but the rewards weren't great enough. I'm just being honest. The rewards weren't great enough. The point here is you're unable to say no, but where are you unable to say no? Where you're most affected and unable to say no is when it comes to those that you love and cherish in your home. And if they've left home, that doesn't matter. If you brought them up and you feel they're your family, you're unable to say no. Let's just look at everything that the Ten of Wands has been telling us, okay? Unable to say no, doing it all ourselves, assuming responsibility, inaction, because we're in the element of fire, okay? Why are we doing it all ourselves? In all areas, no, when it comes to matters of the home. That's why you've got that major card there. So you're not doing it all yourself at work. If you're planning a trip, a chariot is linked to that. Yes? You don't do this for anyone other than my family, my home life. The major arcana card is saying where this is happening. So in this case, the actions are assuming responsibility. It's connected with the home. So you're not marching into work and doing that. At home, you're doing everything yourself. Ten of Wands is telling us you feel obligated. When it comes to home matters, you're unable to say no to the people that are closest to you, those that you're trying to protect, those that you love and care about. At home, you take on too much. Might overdo it in actions for others. You might overwork for and on behalf of others. You might overwork when it comes to your material security, your dwelling, your home life. That's the dwelling itself and the people you care about, pair. And the home to the point of exhaustion. But you're driven because if you just do it for a short period, success is yours. So if you're doing it for a reason, then the reason is the left card, the home. So I hope that helps. Right. Let's bring in some keywords for the Ten of Wands. Justice card, linked to the astrological sign of Libra, which is air. Our major arcana card, Libra and Justice, and we know that it means more than just Libra. So if there's any Librans around you, straight away you'll be looking at going, the Libra is exhausted. If you're the Libran, you're exhausted. Keyword for Justice, partnerships. Let's look at it's Libra and partnerships. Let's say when it comes to Libra, I'm going to keep it simple. It could be a Libra that makes you exhausted, but let's say it's you. Libra is exhausted. If you're a Libra, this comes out and you see this, you go, gosh, that's me, I'm exhausted. Or you could be looking at the fact that as a Libra, you've taken on too much. The key word is partnerships. The area of your life that the Ten of Wands is applying to is partnerships. There are no cups and there are no romantic cards. So if somebody says, can you look at my relationship for me? You'd be looking at partnerships. So you'd be looking for the Justice card immediately. And then you'd look at the card next to it and go, this relationship looks like, you're both pulling really hard. And maybe there's a lot going on for you now. And you might say, well, what does it mean? If they're asking, what does that person think about me? Perhaps that person isn't really thinking about anything apart from just getting to the point where they can make it to the end. The end's in sight. Yeah? That person is probably exhausted. And they are not thinking about anything because they're trying to be successful. Maybe for the partnership. A lot of people do a lot to get a partnership off the ground. You can't live on nothing. That person, the end is in sight for them. So they're not going to be paying attention to dating you or ringing you every now and again. There's too much going on. Oh, but I. You see, we get that. So it's like, this is not the right time. There is a lot on their plate. They are not seeing the woods for the trees. If people have got to do their stuff, They can't be all lovey-dovey and all the rest of it. We don't know whether this is something that's going to go on for quite some time with that person. Could easily be the case. Could be the case this person is overworked or busy, but not usually, because 10 of Wands is the end is insight. And yeah, they're probably exhausted. So the last thing they want is somebody going, well, if you loved me, you would actually do this, or if you were interested in me, you'd do that. I just can't take another thing on. It's unreasonable to expect it. Taking on too much in partnerships. Am I too much? No. What they're doing is causing them to not look at the partnership clearly. But if you want to add another wand to that, it's not going to go in your favor. Chiming. So with partnerships, unable to say no. Now, don't forget, partnerships isn't just romantic ones, but it's the easiest one people talk about, isn't it? They all want to say, oh, talk about my love life. So keeping it simple, but yeah, it could apply at work. Unable to say no to the other person. You're in a partnership and doing all the work. Or you feel the other person isn't capable of doing it as well as you. Or you feel that the other person does X, Y, Z, and you feel your obligations and duty bound to do your thing in the partnership. Sometimes people overcompensate for the fact that they don't feel they're giving enough value because they're doing it all themselves. They are overworking or overburdening or assuming too much action and responsibility is in the area of any partnerships. And it would be any, even if they were asking about a romantic. It's like, are you in a business? If they are in a business, it depends where it is in the spread. Let's assume it's the person having the reading. And let's say, in a partnership, we're assuming too much responsibility, taking on too much, doing it all by themselves. Or the person that they're asking about in the relationship, that person's got responsibility to them when they haven't. You've got to be able to be in a relationship that would definitely allow you the opportunity to thrive and grow. All right? Let's change that one. There you go. Right. So here we have the Devil card, ruled by the planet Saturn. Capricorn. Anything to do with Capricorn is about their status, reputation, and they're very, very much, it's not for the prestige. It's not for the glitzy glitz. People think that, and you'd be wrong. It's to do with the cause. It's to do with what their beliefs about, and it's to do with how it works out that way. And the planet Saturn, as I said, is a planet of restrictions, limitations, responsibilities, and the lessons that we have learned. And I always look at it as in Saturn is the one that teaches us some hard lessons. So that's the planet that goes with the Devil card. And of course, we've got Capricorn. And the Devil card is Capricorn, so we'll put that up for you. Any Capricorns that are having a reading, the Devil card on the end is in sight. Are you a Capricorn? Are you a Capricorn moon? Or do you know a Capricorn if somebody just asked you to pull 2 cards? That's like, right, whatever you've been working towards, the end is in sight. It's been tough. It's been tough because of the ones, because Capricorn, Saturn, teaching us hard lessons, hard truths. Not that easy. Capricorn could be working to the point of exhaustion. Capricorn could be taking on too much. In what area of their life? Might be going with what area of their life? Let's say they've taken on too much. What area of their life? Okay. Get rid of Capricorn for a minute and bring up the fact that it's to do with one of the key words for the Devil card, which is materialism. It's about making sure that happens, that it's done, that you have a product. If your belief is to build a sanctuary for birds, people, a religion, political party, whatever the cause, you are building that for what you firmly believe is the right thing to do. You're not interested in the glory, you just want to make sure that it happens. And so you want it to materialize. And so if you are building something that is, shall we say, that chapel at the top of a mountain, you may have taken on too much. You may find that people don't want to climb the mountain with you, and they'll make you do it, and you've started and you're going to finish, so you're going to have to carry the whole lot up there yourself and build it yourself. You won't give up. Maybe you should have thought about whether people would help you, but you were just unable to do anything other than keep taking on more, which sometimes we do. When we've got this card, you're unable to say no to the very thing that is your cause. You might say no to your family, you might say no to your friends, you might say no to spending for yourself, you might say no to nurturing for yourself, but you won't say no to the cause. All right, great question. So relating to the causes, try and make that a bit bigger. Oops. Okay, if someone asks you to look at an area in their life affecting their partner, can you also look at their partner in the spread? Absolutely. That's really what 9 times out of 10, most people are actually wanting you to look at someone else. So where do you look? In the position of the other person. When I do a reading for a client, let's bring up a spread. There we go. This is my spread. This is what you'll be learning on the advanced. We just go over it. So when you've got this many cards out, let's look at the fact that we know that they're a Capricorn. So straight away on the left side there, you've got the Devil card and the Page of Pentacles. By their star sign, that's where we're looking. The person having the reading is a Pisces, like we see on the right. On the top there, we've got Pisces card, the Moon card. And of course, we've got the Minor card there showing you that's a significator card to help you. So this is a little bit about the courses. So in answer to your question, let's say this is the reading for the Pisces, but they're asking about a Capricorn. So we leap over to the Major Arcana card for Capricorn, and the Minor Arcana card, as in, is also, in this case, just lucky for me, I have Page of Pentacles there. I'm not going to give too much more away. You'd have to do the courses. Yes, you can have one spread out, and it's going to answer that question about the other person. So as long as you know their astrological sign, they could say, look at my mum. She's a Taurus. Look at my dad. He's a Libra. Look at my brother. He's a Gemini. Look at my sister. She's a Cancerian. Can you look at my brother? He's an Aries. Can you look at my Uncle Joe? He's Pisces. And what are you? I am, let's say, Aquarius. The person having the reading is an Aquarian. They want to know about all those people. You've got it in front of you. What if that card's not out? It will be out. We've got 44 cards on the table. Let's play the courses, and then we'll do the Wheel of Fortune, because it's a positive card next to a difficult card. A card of not looking easy at the moment, but the end is in sight. Let me play this and back in a moment. So, positive card, Wheel of Fortune, connected to Jupiter, planet of expansion. Everything expands. So, it's a good thing. Yeah? More work. Or is it a good thing? Because they're already taking on too much. It's fortunate because they've got a lot of work, but they may have taken on too much. If it's just short term, it's not too bad. People that overwork or take on too much are usually self-employed. They don't want to say no, not because they're greedy, but they're fully aware that sometimes it's a feast or a famine, i.e. too much work or nothing. Same for businesses. In order to expand, they feel obliged or dutiful because they are looking for expansion in their life. Sometimes they're trying to expand, but doing it all themselves. Again, I've said this before, you cannot run a chain of supermarkets and do it all yourself. You've got to think about planning your strategy to expand. Doing it all yourself is probably not the way forwards. But if you're just a one-man band, there isn't much choice. You burn yourself out. And it's like, yeah, but that's because they're assuming responsibility. And so in certain areas of their life, they will be working hard in one particular area, and that's probably work. And so if you've seen this coming up and going, oh, they're a workaholic, perhaps, you've got to understand if they don't work, they don't get paid. If they go on holiday, not only do they not get paid for that holiday, but while they're away, they're turning down work, which means they're a bit worried about the fact that that person will go somewhere else and stay somewhere else. Tricky, And that is why sometimes people don't see it and people go, oh, you work for yourself. But the reality is in expansion, sometimes you can't see where you're going because you've just got to keep carrying it all for the short term. Yeah. So that, I hope, explains the Wheel of Fortune and understanding your planets. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. If they're asking about love life, just bear with me. Expansion comes from Jupiter. Opportunities come from Jupiter. I wouldn't say, oh, this expansion, the end is in sight. It doesn't make sense to say that to somebody in a relationship. What you'd look at and go, there's opportunities. The end's in sight here. This will either come to a conclusion, and this person's too busy to be in a relationship, or the opportunity's there, and that this person is actually going to go the full hog, the way forwards as much as they possibly can. Sure we can. Let's do the Judgment card. Judgment cards are tough, isn't it? Judgment card. Planet, Pluto. People find this tricky, but I actually like this card. It's not attached to an astrological sign. It's the planet Pluto. Pluto is a bit of a difficult planet. Again, when I see the Judgment card, it's a wake-up call. There are figures coming out of what looks like graves. The angels blowing the trumpet. You need to reevaluate. And the cross on that is a crossroad. It's where you are now. You can do this or this. Stay where you are. Go backwards, left, right, forwards, upwards. Any direction you choose. Choice is yours. But it's a kind of reevaluating. You've got to kind of go, how did I get here? And the reason for that is you're looking back over your experience. And if you are looking at the Ten of Wands, it's like, how did I get to this? What is the way forwards? Do I want this always? You are reevaluating that card of the end is in sight. Is this worth it? This is my journey. I started here. The Judgment card is going back to where it all began and factors that were in the process to get to where you are today. And that depends which area of your life, you're actually looking at. Which part are you asking about? The person is asking, am I going to be all right? Am I on the right spiritual path? The end's in sight. You're coming to a conclusion. The work you've done is paying off. But you need to look at where you want to go next. The Judgment card out of all of the cards, and this is where I say it's like a Pluto connection, is very long term. And so the effects of this card is whatever you decide to do, you can kind of look at it as in it's the long term. So if somebody's saying, are we going to be right in the long term? I'd go to the Judgment card and see what cards there are. It's like, both working really hard. It's not going to be easy, but you're both putting backbreaking to make it. But you might lose sight of each other. You might lose sight of the journey you're on. You might lose sight of how you got here. Somebody said, how did you get there? They're busy coping with the end in sight. Let me think about it. I can't think apart from this load that I'm carrying. To ask them to reevaluate, they probably can't go back because they're going, let me just get to the end. Let me just get to the end. Why? Because, that's what they're focused. They've done everything to get to this point. The reevaluation, everything that's coming out with this person, it's all to do with success is almost there because of the Judgment card, because of what they did in the beginning, because of the choices they've got now. They could look at it and go, this is much too much like hard work. I give up. That's what you're going to do. And I can tell you the long-term future, you're going to get more of the same. So the Judgment card is the one that's saying, if you keep doing what you're doing, this is how it's always going to look. So that's why it's a wakey. Do you want this? If you really want this, this is kind of how it's going to look in 5 months, 6 months, 5 years, a decade. It's the way you can predict what's going to happen. And if you look at this and it's like, do you think we're going to make it? It's like, you're both putting everything into it. You might lose sight of each other, but you're both putting everything into it. Don't misread this. The end is in sight. Don't misread that. I think it's endo. The end is in sight is the hard work, not the end of the relationship. Ending's more like the Death card, transformation. If you keep going, it'll be worth it in the relationship. We've got to reevaluate. Do you want it to be like this? We both want that house in town, so we're going to keep working. Maybe we can't remember why, but that's our goal. They're focused on a goal. They may be exhausted by buying that house. You might never get off that treadmill. They've got to reevaluate. Am I taking on too much? We all ask that. What am I signing up for? She really wants it, or he really wants it. So I'm unable to say no. You might need to reevaluate. Maybe you feel obligated or duty bound to yourself because of what you set a goal for. But you're at a crossroads. You've got that chance to reevaluate. And the angel's blowing the trumpet to wake you up and go, you're alive, How about, and again, look at the figure as if they were dead and coming back to life. Short term is the Fool. Naivety. Flippity-jippity. The Fool is kind of like too much can actually, it's so new, it's so naive, you've got no experience. Might just dive in and dive out. Pick a pair for yourself. Ask a question. I say, what do the cards need me to know today? I don't think that's helpful, but I do it because you're not asking me anything. So something short term, yeah. If it's short term, look at the Fool and go, it's new, I'm not sure. Another one is the Lovers. The Lovers is a card of choice. Shall I, shan't I? But the Fool is, I've tried it, I don't care. I just want to have a go. Bungee jump. I don't care if so-and-so says it's not a good idea. I'm going to do it. I did it. No thanks. Short term. I was all for it. No, I'm not. Or something, something that just says we've got no experience. We're willing to try, but we don't know if we want to keep going with it. Judgment card is, where do you want to go? Where have you been? Do you want to stay here? Which direction do you want to go in? If you carry on doing what's in the card on the right, that's how it's looking. It's not all about obligations and duty. It is, but you're signing up for action. You're signing up for work. We haven't got another suit there. So it's like this person's determined to really backbreaking stuff. If you were asking about a relationship, I'd be looking at that, and I know people wouldn't get this, but it's like they're putting everything into it. They're giving everything. And they're putting everything into this. It's a negative card in the sense of hard work. You can't do any more. There you go. You cannot do any more. I hope that makes you think. If you miss anything, here's the podcast. So there's our Tuesday podcast where we go through 78 cards in the Chariot deck, and we started off with the major arcana and we worked through the suits. Going on to our fourth suit next week. You'll find it all on my YouTube channel. Last week, you described yourself as the Judgment card, working out where you've come from, what you're doing. Well, I'm at home at the moment, and Judgment card is, where am I going next? Not just location, but everything. How do I want the next 10 years to be? Retirement, play, fun. Retirement, not as in you're retiring from what you're doing, but you're changing gear. People do it as in midlife crisis when they're 30. Yeah, why? Because it's on Saturn return. Then we do it again around about 45 because it's another mini Saturn return. And we do it on a second Saturn return because we're 60. And, that's because we're going, what's going to happen next? If we're lucky enough, another mini Saturn return when we're 75. So yeah, Judgment card is reevaluating. What am I doing? Don't look at certain cards as being negative. It depends what the question is. It also depends on the major arcana. So if you're seeing that, somebody's asking about a relationship and giving them 10 of wands, people go, I really don't think they're a workaholic. Well, it depends what the other card is. Look how he looks at it. And when this person will give you everything, the Judgment card and the 10 of wands, person's giving you everything. Now, whatever decision you decide, they're going to give it their all in action, not just a load of old flannel. Yeah. I love you. I care for you. They're doing much more beyond that. Wish you best, passionate Saji. Thank you so much for your beautiful messages. You can watch the replays. Also, you've got the podcast to see what's there. My other thing is, do not forget the courses. If you want to make a life-changing direction, you're welcome. If you want to change direction in life, tarot is a great job. And if you know your cards or you don't know your cards, this is the place to be. We can discuss everything to help you on your journey, to help you just keep taking one foot further forwards than we were yesterday or the day before. You've made wonderful progress, passionate Saji. I know it's hard. It's only been, you made immense progress. And I'm suddenly disappointed because I'm not making as much progress. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And we think they are. But what are they doing? Are they doing what you want? Seeing people have fans, likes, comments, is that paying the bills? Is that making them happy? Why are they doing it? It might be short term. If you want to do it long term, have stability and reliability, you need to say, how can I stabilize myself? Okay? So it's about your security. And the way in which you get your security is you need to be able to be comfortable with what you do and not be put off by things that happen, so that you feel that you are in charge of your own self-employment, even if you work for someone else. If you don't like it, you are at liberty to be able to feel confident enough that you could walk into another establishment or set up on your own. It takes time. And if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Are they doing as their bread and butter and only that? Just do that and manage beautifully. Get paid well, this, that, and the other. Why? Because you've made wise choices. You've got a system, and it's because you feel comfortable, and it's because you've got the support. All right? I'm going to play you out with the courses. Do look, the method that see me teaching is all on intermediates. If you're interested in that, if you want to learn more about tarot, you'll see them here. I'll see you on Thursday when we start with the Ace of Pentacles. Thanks for watching, everybody.